We should get underway. Morning, everybody. Roll call, please, Jen.
Mike Dolson.
I'm here.
Tom McDonald.
Here.
Jennifer Finley. Here. Jim Molitor. Carol Langford. Danielle Matt. Here. Bing Matt. James Steele Jr.
Una.
Martin Charlo.
Present.
Len Tutis.
Here.
Lenice Trahan. Here.
Jimmy, would you give us a prayer this morning, please?
Someone's coming. Today we call you to join us as we do our work for the people that we are working for here at our tribal membership. The elders, the children, want you to look after them, people that are in trouble. We have a lot of people that have lost loved ones. Please be with them as much as you can, and ask you to just watch all of council and have them put their hearts in the work they do. That's just in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Jimmy. We have minutes from November 5th. Please look at the minutes.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I made a little bit of a correction on the section where I was talking on my report about the Mission City Council, and I sent those to Abby. Nothing real substantive, just a few minor changes.
Thank you, James.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Martin.
can I put right after the break, or that you'd be either before or after the break that I left for a funeral?
Thank you, Martin.
And one more, and I joined right before, or right basically before Sadie got on and listened via Zoom.
Motion by Len to approve the November 5th minutes with corrections. Second by Tom. All in favor? Got 9-4, being out of the room. Jen?
One walk-in. I'm going to grab Bruce for that discussion. So if we can go in executive when
Okay,
you guys are ready for that.
We have an agenda. Let's look at it. We have one walk-in. Any other additions? Martin? Are open. I do have a handful of things that came in the mail to give notice of. I'd entertain a motion. Motion by Tom to approve the agenda with additions. Second by Jimmy. All in favor? I think we're unanimous on that. So is Ruthie ready to come down?
Executive,
We'll go out of regular into executive. Council, just do I have a motion to adopt the recommended increase in tribal council wages? Going once. It's gonna die for lack of a motion.
okay, thank you.
What? Carol is making the motion to adopt the increased tribal council wages. Get a second. Second by Jimmy. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, go ahead, Martin.
So this has nothing to do with pay scale because we weren't able to be classified or whatever by their system, correct? And this baseline came from the average of all the tribal councils in Montana. Was what the 75 baseline was originally. And so this is just adjusting for inflation and cost of living and basically all the things that most tribal employees get regularly.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good question, Mr. Charlo. So I cannot answer my own self as to whether the job was ever benchmarked in pay scale. And you typically would not apply any type of employee pay scale to elected officials. They're just not the same. You're not employed in a job. There's no performance aspect to be evaluated on, and cost of living historically for council has always followed the same way as employees. That's the only parallel similar action ever taken. So once we constructed the pay plan, you know, you generally have to devise method for how you ever adjust it. So economically, the economic impact is really the only, to me, the only logical way to do it. You could, of course, just freeze it and then say, well, every 5 years or some period, survey again and adopt average again, whether it's up or down. The IBEW agreement is like that for union. They will survey, say, the lineman average wage, and then apply that change across the board to their union folks. So,
Carol.
You, Mr. Chair, you could also just make it automatic. Because it's a 4-year term, and if you lose, you're out. You know, it starts over from the beginning again. And I'm a fine one to be saying that, and I feel bad, but I'm making the motion and I make quite a bit, but I feel the others do deserve. And I would step back and not take a raise if they, but I don't know, you know, I don't know. I just think they're deserving. And if we don't do it, I mean, we're doing the same things we've done to other programs, basically, is not paid out when we, when these times are tough. So I also, is the cost of living come in for the employees?
I'm not aware that we're presently utilizing the cost of living method that used to be used.
Oh, okay.
If it's in play, I'm just not aware of it. In the budget side of things, when we have the budgets prepared, they are told to budget for 3% pay increases in total. And that's to allow for, should there be cost of living and or just regular pay increases that are gonna apply to their employees. So we always have the budget, at least, consideration for that, whether or not it's actually gonna happen.
So if we decide not to continue with pay scale, then we could go back to a cost of living adjustment. Whenever that's.
Yes.
I
not-
think Tom took action a long time ago to do away with pay scale.
Ruthie, this also includes a red line, doesn't it, for council pay?
Yeah, as the rates, increase for that, increase, there is still the maximum. So if any individual was at that maximum, that's all they're really still getting is the 2% or 2.1, because that's what we increased it by. Same applies to employee pay plans when we were doing that. So if you were redlined and a 3% COLA was given, you got the 3% because your rate also went up, or on the pay plan went up accordingly.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the pay raise?
Pay plan.
Carol, Jennifer, Jimmy, Tom, and Bing, Martin. All those opposed? Lynn,
Me,
James, myself. I didn't get your vote, Danielle. In favor? So Daniel's in favor, so 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 4, and 3 opposed. Thank you, Ruthie.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm glad you're here, Ruthie, because it's related. I don't want to be premature on reading stuff yet. But I think with the my forecast for the House is that it will remain Republican controlled. And so I think that we really need to start planning what could be coming in 2025 for budget cuts and reduction in services, and how we will address that through how we're already supplementing so many federal programs because they're already underfunded. But I really think we should start some planning meetings to try to figure that out and get that underway. And that's my deep concern, because, you know, this is the perfect storm when we talk about Project 2025. This is it. And so you could look at the end of the Department of Education. You could add tremendous cuts in BIA. Of course, EPA will be gone. There's a lot of programs that we get funding for that could be on the chopping block. I'm hoping that the moderate Republicans will step forward as they've done before, and when they really know their constituents and talk the talk. I'm hoping Zinke will talk the talk. That will end up with some prevailing, good thinking minds that will stop some irrational stuff. So, but I think we really should start being prepared for it. That's what I'd like to talk about. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Vice Chairman, point well made. You know, as we had our little coffee break discussion yesterday, or was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was post-election. You're probably recalling, and many of you remember, that when we went through last year's budget cycle and for this year, our mantra or our guiding principle was sustain. And so that literally just means maintain or remain at the current level. No anticipated growth, no anticipated add, increase, enhance, whatever, however you want to characterize it. And as we go into 25, it was austerity. And this is unfortunately a place many of us have already been many, many, many times for many, many, many years. If you've been on the reservation for the last 30 years, we've been through this. And it's not only been on the federal side of funding, but on the tribal side as well. And our tribal revenues, you know, preciously accumulated, created, enhanced, become that much more so. And on the federal side, all you have to do is look at the last time we modified, and you look at that amount of mandatory appropriations, except for the compact, it's over $100 million of federal funding. That's what, you know, we will look at very closely. And in particular, Indian Health Service, it all will come down to priorities, literally, and necessity. We've ran healthcare as a tribe for 47 years. So as I said, these times of restraint are not new. But it's a hard thing to do, to have to feel like we're going to reduce what we work so hard to build. So as in particular, the healthcare system, because it's not only possibly meant by funding reduction or flattening. Flattening is just as bad in my opinion. But actual reductions compounded with how the state is going to approach the sunset of Medicaid. So I'm already saying they're not going to go farther. And our work in the political side is going to have to ramp up greatly. We have to be talking to and strategizing and telling the true story to say, well, if you do that, this is what we will see happening. And maybe their appeal to the corporate side of that, or the business side, or the economic side of it might kind of slow some of that down. It's sort of worked before, but I was really hoping I wasn't going to go into retirement with these things kind of set up. I have brought on my successor, and I said, boy, the fun's going to begin. You have come in at a very opportune time, and I am absolutely pleased with her. She's only been on the job 2 weeks. Very impressive integrity. She has a very well-rounded experience with the tribe, reservation, tribal people, and I'm happy she's going to be here. And she's only 46, so maybe she'll dig in for about 20 years. But I welcome any, you know, we want to get ahead of this. I totally agree that we can't do this soon enough. We ordinarily start off in January, as you know. We can start whenever you feel is appropriate, whether it's through the executive level or even all the way down to the management level. But we're here to do what you feel is needed.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Martin, you? Martin, you got an issue.
Not an issue,
Okay,
just a report.
well, let's have your report.
Good question.
Go ahead, Carol.
Hey, Tom, if they do cut Medicaid expansion, would you still think it's okay to go forward with what you're proposing on?
Oh, for Medicare? I really don't, I don't think they're going to mess with Medicare because it's a senior program. And so what we have to evaluate is, it's for tribal health. Do they need that money to not pay for that insurance premium for 65 years? Anybody who's eligible that chooses, that wants that Medicare B, would that money be better suited to provide for some of the cuts that are going to happen with Medicaid? My issue with tribal health is that I see a bunch of things that we're doing there that we're overpaying. That we have just a small customer group and we're staffing up and it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. that needs to be filtered first. And I think that's unlike, because when you look at this insurance program for Medicare B, it's a no-brainer to me. It's federally supported. All you're doing is adding this, and the service for those that are eligible are tremendous, way better than the service we can provide at Tribal Health. So I would, and that's the bulk of where our health needs are going to go, is this population slug of us baby boomers. And so that's what's going to bleed Tribal Health dry. So it's better to buy insurance for our elder program, and you could solid. You don't have catastrophic events that bankrupt you, and it's matched by the federal government, as is Medicaid. So I think what Ruthie's talking about, to have hospitals close in Montana because Medicaid gets cut, to think about the burden of the economy that's going to be shattered with Medicaid because there's so many Montanans that rely on Medicaid. That's where it's that, which you've done a great job, Carol. We really got to go out and shop that with the Hertzes of the world and the state folks, because we don't want our own government, Montana, saying we don't want Medicaid. That's stupid. But what would happen in DC, I don't know. That's another one of those that these folks like Tim Sheehy don't like people on the dole at all. They think even his own vets, he doesn't want to support them or healthcare and stuff like that. They need to stand. They don't want any help. They're so proud they don't ask for it. And they don't want it. They don't need any. That's his mentality, and that's the wrong mentality. Those folks that don't ask for it are usually the ones that need it the worst, because they're too damn proud to ask for it, but they need it. They're suffering. They're hurting. And so he doesn't recognize his constituents at all. So it's a great question, Carol. But I'd rather do the course filter on Tribal Health and make sure that we're just doing everything so efficiently and we're not overstaffing for a real small segment of the care needs. That's my concern. But it's a great question. Thank you, Carol.
Go ahead, Martin.
Now that I think about it, there is probably an issue included in this report. Went to the SQCC elders meeting yesterday. Every time gets up and walks out. Len was there. They're having it at the Indian Center down in the housing area, and there was miscommunication between the department or the departments and the senior center cook that went there to prepare the meals, and some people went there for meals and obviously didn't get them. So I would hope we could communicate a little bit better there. Their meetings are the first Wednesday of every month. They would love to have you guys down there. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Pat, go ahead and come up. Morning. Microphone.
Button, Pat.
Check 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. We are in the 4th year of our Christmas benefit dinner hosted by the DHRD Families First Project. Every year we try to benefit our most vulnerable populations. And we don't want to, wow, this seat is moving on me. We don't want to leave out our Second Circle Lodge residents. And now we have a warming center, and the people there are definitely our most vulnerable as well, living day to day on the streets. So what we like to do is we like to open up lay out the table for them and generate support for these residents. And all I'm asking from you, council, is your support and your possible attendance on that evening of December 11th, 5 to 8. We have a lot of community volunteers that come in and make it great. We have a family photo station that we do for people to come and take family photos. while they're there, and it's professionally done, and people can get printouts and take their photos home with them. We also do a hair cutting station for some of the kids where their moms can bring them in if they're a little unruly. Ozzy, old person, has been doing it now for the last couple of years, and he's really excellent at it. We do drawings, and at one point in time, we prize drawings, and at one point in time, we take a collection for the Warming Center and for the Second Circle Lodge kids, and then we give that to them. We try to give that to them before the holidays, so the directors and managers can kind of pour into them and pour that love into them. The community is always awesome at chipping in. Different businesses give us business coupons. We get free movie tickets. We get dinner tickets, and it just all comes pouring in. And so we like to just continue to do that and to unify the community by something good for the people. So please come out, please show your support. And if there are any businesses or any of your friends that want to contribute, you can go ahead and point them my way. And what we do is when we take monetary donations, we have an account set up here at the HRD Accounting. So everything's accounted for. The I's are dotted and the T's are checked. Carol's been coming out and showing her support every year. And whether you guys know it or not, your presence is really special. And at our community events, you honor us with your presence. And so I just like to extend that invitation to our leadership. Una? Okay, all right, you guys.
Pat, I think we have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jen.
So when you have community events like this where children are invited, and you have volunteers, is everybody background checked to make sure that there are no child molesters or people who've hurt children attending these events? Are those people like background checks on people?
Not officially. I mean, the workers, like those of us that work with families, we are from CSKT, but like, for example, Ozzy, you know, doing haircuts. We don't really require that. He's not an official employee, so we don't have a policy for that. And like for the DHRD or for the drug court volunteers, what they do is they're all in recovery, and they come and they set up snack tables and gift tables, face painting and stuff for the kids. We don't really have a policy for background checks, but everybody's, you know, at like any community event, you know, you have your checks and balances. We have security volunteers. We haven't had any problems in the past besides our Huckleberry cheesecake getting all over the SKC theater by the kids one year, which was an issue. So, but no, we don't have a policy for that. We just, you know, sort of trust each other, I guess, and know each other from the community. Yeah, we don't have background check forms, or I don't know if if we have a policy to where we have background checks for any travel events and stuff like this, like Resapaloozas and people coming in and volunteering. I just don't.
Well, the kids are usually with their guardians.
Kids are, well, at this event, yeah, the parents just can't come and drop their kids off. They have to come with their families.
And so it's not like the event is in charge of the kids. The parents are there.
Yeah, the parents there, their guardians and grandparents. It's a community event. So, yeah, that's how we do it.
Yeah, I just think it would be a good idea as a former teacher, someone who's worked with kids.
Yeah.
When schools do stuff like that, that's usually required. So
yeah,
I would just suggest looking into it.
You know, it is a great idea. And if we develop policy or something like that, where we need background checks on our volunteers and stuff like that, and if that's something that the council wants to take a look at, I'd be more than willing to get her all done, if need be. Carol?
You know, we're the policymakers, and I think if maybe Jen thinks that we should have a policy, maybe if she could look into seeing what other policies are out there for events like this.
You know,
I
for
know.
pot, it's basically a glorified potluck. And we have music volunteers too from the community as well. We got traditional cultural presentations, hoop dancing, honor songs, drumming and singing, and opening remarks by sitting elders. Need be.
Go ahead.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we do have a policy for full-time employees that, if they're around children, they have to have the background check, so there's not a pedophile issue. And I think when you talk about the part-time stuff or events, it would be, you'd need to first look at the core of the funding and the parameters of the funding that might be funding it. And they may require something of that for any exchange of goods and services. I don't know.
Right, and the federal team that I work with, they've been aware of this for 4 years, and they've indicated nothing about mandatory background checks for volunteers. Anyway, back to the Christmas spirit. So it's that time of giving, and so just really like to see some tribal council support. If you guys could make it out, bring your family, RSVP, some seating. Last year we had about 200 people. This venue sits 250.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Pat, thanks for doing this. I see you're also doing a clothing drive for the community as well. You know, I appreciate these type of events. We have a lot of our community that are in recovery or coming out of incarceration or things like that, and they need to be accepted back in the community because they're our family. So I appreciate you continuing to do these type of events, and you're always there with a positive attitude. And yeah, thank you for what you're doing, man.
Ooh, nah. Yep. So yeah, bring yourselves, bring your families. 1 year we did have a comedian. He did pretty all right. He was much funnier than I was. So, okay, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a good day. Come on up, Carrie. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, and good morning, Council. Thanks for having us here. I've got Peter Bagoni, our restoration ecologist with the Bison Range with us today. And we are on, let's see if I can scroll up, page 2 on your council packets this morning. We are here to request approval of a contract modification for one of our aerial seating contractor, Aviator. So we currently have a contract in place that goes through the end of December. Did I attach the, yeah. That goes through the end of December, and that original contract was to finish up a existing grant that we have through the BIA. And so this was to come in after some aerial herbicide applications, and this is to distribute some seeds across this across the grant had enough funding to seed 72 acres. So that's what this contract was written for back in the spring. And then we've currently this year gotten another grant through NRCS that will allow us to additionally seed another additional 475 acres. And so we're hoping to be able to just modify this contract to allow Aviator to, since he's already going to be on the Bison Range, seeding those 72 acres, hopefully seed those additional 475 acres. So that's why our original contract was for 53,389 for those 72 acres, but we're seeking approval to modify that contract for the additional acres under the additional grant funding for a total of 187,379. And we have worked.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Tom to approve the modification to contractor agreement 24,353, second by Martin. All in favor? think we're unanimous here.
That's good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carrie.
Seat away.
Morning, Scott. Come on up.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Today, we didn't have handouts for you ready at the time of the request for council time, but they're passing out some information for you. And this is about the safety action plan and giving you an update on that and the stuff coming up. I'll introduce Jacqueline and with DJNA, and she can introduce her team.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be here again. I'm Jacqueline Smith. I'm the consultant PM for this project. And then with me, I've brought Megan Redmond and Mirta Becerra, and they are both helping with the public outreach side of things. So we continue to make progress on this project. We've done quite a bit of data collection, and so that is some of the information that you're seeing in the packet. And I'm not expecting you to read and digest everything right now. It's just more just an update and share. And if you're interested, you can see what we found. For me, I found the crash data especially interesting. But we're also in the thick of getting more public outreach going. You'll see the top page is an open house invitation. So we do have an open house scheduled for this project on November 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. And that's going to be in St. Ignatius. And this is where we're really looking for input from the community. The next big step we have for developing this safety action plan is making project recommendations, identifying projects, recommending the projects, and prioritizing them. And so we really want to get feedback from the community. And I know we had visited last time on areas of concern that you would like addressed, but we'd also like to get that from the community. So we plan on having some interactive stations where people can identify, is speeding a concern for you, pedestrian accommodations, let everybody kind of cast a vote, share interests of theirs, also allow them the opportunity to identify areas of concern. Maybe they live up in Hot Springs and there's an intersection that's especially concerning to them. So just help identify maybe gaps or things that aren't captured in those snapshots with the crash data, that we can make sure that it's, a wholesome and well-informed plan. You'll see that second page if you're scrolling through. That is just of the list of who we have, the media outlets that we've reached out to do the news release. We also are going to be sending out individual invites for key stakeholders, such as certain like business representatives, the culture committees. And we're hoping that we've timed when we're sending out the invites, okay, so that they don't get thrown away with all the political ads, but it gives them also a little bit of time to plan. So hopefully we have some good attendance. I'll pause. I feel like I've thrown a lot out for the moment. If there's any questions or comments that you want to share, certainly.
Any questions? Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know you guys want to do community outreach. We're going to do a district meeting next Wednesday here at the council chambers. If you guys wanted to come give I don't know how long you guys are doing your presentations for.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
Maybe 15
Wednesday.
minutes. Wednesday, the 13th.
Do you have a time for that?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.?
Yeah. Navy soup.
It, and it's right here.
Be here in the council chambers, and if you want to do a PowerPoint or something, we could probably figure that out.
Yeah, I'll open it up to any, what would you like us to share? We're working on display boards right now for the open house, and we were gonna show some of the maps showing the crashes and some of the interesting statistics. But, and we could bring some maps for people to mark up. We could bring those boards for people to, it's not really what we're doing presentation. It's more like we want feedback. We don't want to do much of the talking. We want to get the input from the community members.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, true, yes, but we want input.
Go ahead, Martin.
I appreciate that, thank you.
You'll either be sandwiched in between our skateboard park or something, so we've had really good turnout for those discussions, and so, that's actually one of the things that I'd like input on, is that we have a new park going in down here that's gonna increase a lot of pedestrian traffic, I assume, and so making that area safe and well lit and all those things. We're gonna do some of the infrastructure, but definitely if MDOT could help with signage or lighting is always good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a lot of our other communities have the same thing going in, so hopefully they can provide input or district meetings that you can attend.
Yeah, and speaking of food, we plan on bringing snacks and drinks to share with those that participate on November 18th.
Other questions? Go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, and thank you all for visiting with us today. This is a very important project. So just a little bit of feedback from the community members in Elmo. Okay, we've had a few community members step up. They're really concerned about trying to slow people down through Elmo. During the summer months, kids are always making their ways to the lake, always crossing the roads. And it's just the traffic there, especially the summer traffic, you just can't slow people down. I'm not really sure what we could do about that. Maybe a stoplight, I don't know, but or some even lit up crosswalks, pedestrian crosswalks. But I just wanted to mention that because that was a huge topic this summer. We had a few close calls, and people are just not, especially the out-of-staters, they're not considerate. They're not considerate at all. But anyway, thank you once again for taking the time to be with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Thank you, Chair, Council. Just kind of a follow-up on what Councilman Tutu's talking about. We, down in the south end, as soon as you come onto the reservation, it's the same issue. You know, you've got people driving 80 miles an hour, people having to turn off to their homes and left turn, or no left turn lanes. In passing lanes, it's really dangerous. They come into a passing lane right in Evero, and they're starting to pass, and people are having to turn off there to go home. It's a real safety issue. I addressed this 3 years ago when I come on council with Senator Tester, working on it, but I mean, nothing's changed. No speed limits, nothing. I mean, it's just still the same. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I mean, this is a real safety issue. Somebody's gonna get killed up there. And I'm gonna push on it as hard as I can because it's nothing happening. I'd like to see something happening there. I want to talk to the community down in Arlee, and we'll get some people to talk about it because it's a real safety issue. Thank you.
Yeah, and we know, we've definitely been hearing that, and working with Scott, it probably feels rushed that we're developing this timeframe, because we want to have this done by May, and you know, studies usually last a year or so, but we are trying to time it so that this wraps up, we get the recommendations, and it sets you up for this upcoming round of Safe Streets for All grant funding. And so whatever is prioritized or recommended out of the safety action plan that we're working on can be used to apply for a Safe Streets for All grant to help get stuff on the ground.
Just, just a thought, because I've been watching it for 3 years now. Once they come into the reservation, there's no more speed limit. They're doing 80, 85 as fast as they can get through there. And to me, it's just, these other people that have moved in here is the real issue. They're just hauling ass through there, and it's not good for anybody. I mean, down by the casino, it bottlenecks, and there's been accidents down there, and they're going to continue because they didn't do that right to turn into that casino in the first place. Either way, but it's just a speed factor right there. I mean, as soon as they come on the reservation, they think they're on an open road, and it's crazy how fast they go. It's really I just wanted to mention that. That's what he's talking about on north end. Same thing in the south end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bing and then Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up what Jimmy was talking about there, that turn off at the casino there when you're going south, there's no turn lane. So you gotta just, go over to the side of the highway, then go off, turn off the road. And then also down the road about a mile where we live, in the July home sites. And Mike was talking about it yesterday. Is that that's really a bad place there, because when we come out of that, on the east side of the highway there, looking back south, there's a little hill that goes there. And then when you turn out there, next thing you know, those cars come up busting over that hill. The next thing you're right on your case, and then we go on the highway, and then they're flipping you off and everything else because you're pulled out in front of them, and they're going, like Jimmy said, 80, 90 mile an hour going down through there. And it's awful. He talked to the highway department here years ago about this thing, and nothing's been done with it yet. And then the turn lanes that go into both sides of the road there, goes to the east or west side of the home sites up there. A lot of them guys, they pass you into that turn lane. That's where they'll go when they want to get by you. And it's really dangerous through there. And then down to town of Arley itself, they go through there. There's a 35 mile an hour speed limit through there. But very seldom you ever see a car going 35 mile an hour through that Arley. We already had a couple kids hit down there, and one day they'd kill them. But it's going to happen because they just go too damn fast down through that town, and they just don't realize that we do have kids coming across from the school there, and two different locations for sure that they cross the highway on. And they were supposed to put some flashing lights up there for the kids so they could cross that highway. We only have one set of lights there right now for those kids, but that's clear at the end of town. So it is dangerous, really dangerous here for them kids, and it'd be nice if we could push this a little bit where we could get something done.
Go ahead, Scott. And then Jen.
I just wanted to point out that this project is not just limited to speed limits and signs and lights. It could be education stuff. It could be maybe even law enforcement funding to get more patrols out there in certain areas. It could be a lot of different things in this program, and everybody can think outside the box. And if there's lighting at intersections or flashing lights somewhere, or just could be a lot of different things.
Yeah, thank you, Scott.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I scanned your QR code, and then I went on your CSKT safetyactionplan.com website, and you can't get in. It says guest area, please enter the password below. So both of those things take you to that.
We are just finishing up our QC review. Sorry, I should have
Okay.
specified that. We're finishing up the internal QC review before we make it live. And, but once it
Okay.
is, I think we've wrapped up our comments. And, so it should be live today or tomorrow.
So will people be able to go on and make comments online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we have, it opens up to the webpage. It gives you information, just answering questions like what is a safety action plan? How is this being funded? When's construction gonna happen? But then there's also a link to a map where people can click on areas and provide comments. But then there's also an area where you can just provide comments, where like, say you want to see more highway patrol out there. You can't really maybe pinpoint that on a map. That's just a general comment. So we do have the two methods for how you can comment on it. Did that answer your question? Is there anything else you'd like to see included since we are still, there's room for growth?
No, I think that's great because I don't know if I can't make it to the meeting. I want to be able to make my comments. So
Yeah.
I'll look for when that goes live.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Jacqueline.
It's not an
Jackie?
easy one, Jacqueline. Yes.
Maggie and Maria?
Megan?
Megan.
Mirta.
Mirta.
That's a
Mirta.
hard one.
I'm always looking at it. Trying to remember names. I'm trying to do a better job with that. Thank you for coming in this morning. My issue is really, design standards. And just like we talked about in an urban setting here in Pablo, why isn't there pedestrian walkways on both sides of the damn highway? And when you're in an urban setting, why isn't there at every intersection a mandated light for a pedestrian to push for a red light to come on so they can cross the damn highway safely? It is almost impossible right now in Ronan to try to cross the highway unless you're at an existing vehicle stoplight. Same thing for Polson. And so if there was just those built design standards that, and for Ronan, for example, in Polson, there's all kinds of planning going on for both those communities, but why isn't there red light, cross lights for pedestrians? Really, the pedestrian standard needs to come first. And then automobiles with the 2,000 pounds of metal around them come second. And so whatever pedestrian needs are, if we just have that standard that we're going to build and we're going to provide for pedestrian safety and movement along and across a vehicular access roadway, we will benefit 100 times over and eliminate a lot of injury. The second thing is another build design. If we have a 4-lane highway and a passing lane, and there's not a left turn bay, that's a design flaw. Same thing goes for a high traffic visitation area where there's not a right turn lane, or a acceleration lane to get back on. So some of that's kind of hit and miss on our people's way. And I think that's what you're hearing Jimmy and Bing and others say, that needs to be a design standard. So these could all be just simple design standards that just go in. And so I just really don't think that there's any reason to delay pedestrian crosswalks and red light mandatory stops, because you can stand in Ronan. And I used to do it all the time trying to cross that dang highway, and I was crippled up. I'm faster now. I got a new hip, so I actually ran across the road the other day. But before I was kind of limping across, and it was kind of tough. But you could stand there forever at a crosswalk, and they're not stopping. They're not stopping for you. If it was a red light that came on, they're going to stop, and I can cross that road. And that should be the mandate for all urban settings, at least in our reservation, because we have the highest percentage of our constituents are pedestrians. And so it's our due diligence to make sure that they can travel along the roadway and across the roadway in the safest means possible. I really thank you for doing this study, coming up with strong recommendations, and hopefully there are mandates for build designs for highways in our community. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You will see, let's see, it's maybe towards, 5 or so pages in. There is a document in there. Oh. Um, there's several sections that go into this community safety action plan, and one of them is leadership commitment and goal setting. And so this is where the plan needs to be adopted. And so we will need, once the plan is complete, for this to be an enforceable document, it to be adopted or
Have a resolution.
a resolution with tribal council. And so maybe just getting some input from you on how to go about getting or that process, and what do you want to see from us to help ease that, and I guess not put you on the spot that here it is, it's all done. Now please approve it. We definitely want to make sure that it works for you, and that we ask for it at the right time. And
Anything else? Yeah, Danny, then Jimmy.
I guess I'm in the same spot as everybody else here. We're looking for pedestrian pathways. I'm down at the intersection of 200 and 212 in that area, and lots of pedestrian traffic walking from the old agency to town. When you go across that bridge there over the Flathead, there's not room on either side. Then you've got the railroad tracks, and we've talked about the tracks even. They walk the tracks, and they haven't been maintained for a lot of years, those tracks, the trestle. It's pretty iffy down there if they walk the other way, if they walk the river. So it's just been pretty unsafe down there for a long time. I know about every other trip I make on that road, I'm passing somebody that's walking or riding a bicycle. And then when you go from the old agency down towards Moise, the bison range is beautiful, and pending where the bison are on any given day, if they're on that side, it's traffic pulled out, and you're weaving around all of the traffic that's pulled over to admire the beauty of the range. So we don't have any pullouts there either, from about the agency down to Moise, and it gets a little rough down there in the summertime with the tourists. But yeah, pedestrian safety.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I want to thank you all for coming and being aware of all these safety issues, because they're really there, you know. And I wanted to ask Scott, you traveled that highway quite a bit. From Arlee, just south about a mile or so, Donna Garrison has started a car lot on the left-hand side, and it's getting pretty big. There's a lot of people going in there. He has no turn lane in there going south. I mean, them people are trying to crowd right at the end of that. They're trying to crowd in there just to get a left turn, you know, just to get to turn into his car lot. And there's no turn there. It's a pretty dangerous area. I've seen a lot of them go down, turn around, and try to come back the other way. But it's just all those issues need to be looked at, see what can be done, and appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys being here, because it's I'd rather see them spend the money than get somebody killed. Thank you.
Go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just sitting here thinking, you know, MDOT has constructed enhanced crossings, and this is located between Plains and Thompson Falls. They've constructed enhanced crossings for bighorn sheep, and they're even lit up. And if they can do that for the bighorn sheep, they could certainly do this for our kids. So just wanted to throw that out there.
I guess I'll add just a little. We've recently had one fellow hit on Highway 77, and the pedestrian pathway only goes about a quarter mile on it. And then Highway 382 is just notorious for deer. I don't know if your crash data actually includes all of the car animal crashes, but if you're getting them all off 382, you got to have a lot. both deer and elk. I think Two Eagles had two buses with elk problems. Go ahead.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. Again, and I love that information too. I mean, this is all really, really important. And kind of reiterating some of the maps, we've got a lot of the data that we're going to have working on some boards for the open house. And one of those I was thinking about is the wildlife crash data. But with all of those information, it's reported crashes too. So knowing, like, especially looking at those in specific areas where, potentially somebody hits a deer and they drive home and fix their bumper, like maybe they didn't report it or things like that. And that, that this is really, really important to us as well. And I really appreciate you guys meeting with us today. So my sister works and lives in Mission, and my folks live in Polson. So I go back and forth a lot as well. And about 4 years ago, my daughter, who was 6 at the time, was involved in a head-on Evero with my mother. And so that was right when they were working on those rumble strips. But I totally relate, and I feel you when I hear you when you talk about that speed, 100%. And we really appreciate your conversations with us, and also getting the word out to your family and friends to put those comments in and to come and speak with us and let us know so that we can try to get these recommendations to really be able to get that funding is really important. And I know it's sometimes daunting when you feel like you've had these conversations and you've been talking about it for years and things aren't happening. And so we're really trying to get to a point where we can push it forward and try to get that funding available. So we really appreciate you guys talking with us and having us today.
Anything else? Well, thank you all. Oh, go ahead, Marissa.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention again that we would love to come and attend any of the meetings that you have with your district. So if some of your constituents cannot make it to a meeting, we'll be happy to come to you. So don't hesitate to let us know.
Is your contact information in the packet here?
I know the last time I was here, I sent, I sent or provided my card, but I did, and I believe I handed out these previous flyers, and I do have my information there too. And would you like, we can hand these out again if you would like.
Or you can just contact me as well.
Yeah.
And we know how to get a hold of Scott. No, he works. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And this is a tremendous project. Tremendously important. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Come on up, Greg. Morning.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and members of council. So today what I have to discuss with you is, I think Jen's going to share the screen here. Today what I have to bring forward is a journal entry that requires tribal council approval. We are in the season where we're wrapping up fiscal year 2024, and this is a journal entry that requires council examination and approval, and I want to walk you through what that is in an efficient manner and answer any questions that you have, and just kind of alert you that this is a normal time of the year where these types of adjustments come into the central accounting area, and I expect there will be more in the upcoming several weeks. So in the pay week of February 13th, we had a check come back from a bank account that was closed, as well as we did an off-cycle pay run for an employee. And the backup is later here in the presentation. We can get to that. It was brought to my attention yesterday that the journal entries had not been completed in the month of February. This should have been caught by the month end of March when we would have done the reconciliation and certification. I don't have an explanation as to why it was missed, but I'm looking into it. This is an important journal entry that makes the program expenses correct. It was raised to me yesterday. I raised it to Jennifer to bring it onto your agenda for today, and I called the program manager to alert them that there will be this expense attributed to them. And that's the type of explanation that I'm hoping to get from the field when they come in for these types of journal entries. We are beyond the November 2nd closeout date, and that's why I'm here.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Knowing that this is in regards to getting an employee paid, is there any reason why you just cannot approve those?
Why I'm not able to approve the journal entry?
Yes.
Our policy and procedure is designed to allow me to approve those up until the end of October when it's the normal course of business. Our policy and procedures are drawn up in a manner that they are ambivalent as to who gets caught up in them. So I'm here to take responsibility for my department and program that got caught up in this and to take responsibility for finding the fix. I'm trying to be set the right example for what we're expecting the field to do when they miss something like this.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of concerning because when we're dealing with an employee's pay, and especially for this situation, if we didn't have council this week, if we didn't have it today, this employee would have to wait. And a lot of them can't wait. They need to pay their bills. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. I just think that we should look at protocols and maybe changing procedures where you're able to just approve those journal entries as needed in these kind of cases.
Let me allay your concerns because I share that. I share what you are saying, which is employees should be compensated. The last page of the backup is the backup that we received in February that said, hey, we missed the compensation during that pay week and we owe this person 33 hours. Payroll has already cut the check and processed this as of February 16th. The employee was made whole. That part was absolutely taken care of. And I share your concerns to making sure that employees get compensated. This is merely the journal entry at this late hour, and it affects program expenses. And I want to be open with you that it's here.
And so you need action from us to approve the journal entry.
Yes, sir.
Motion by Tom. Second by Martin. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you all.
Got a question?
Separate note, talking about the deadline coming up in December for some of obligating some funds. Just, is there any red flags there that you know of? I mean, I want to make sure our toilets are ordered and you know if that's happened or not, that kind of stuff.
I'm smiling because I have a morning meeting with John Nice and we went through those budgets today about what's obligated and where our concerns are. I should be able to provide for you a written update on all of those topics. The word in the field, the direction I've given to every single program is that we're going to end our contracting on November 14th, which is next Thursday, so that we have a time to assess what the obligations are and to be able to present to council any modifications or changes. I am also simultaneously exploring the right suggestion so that we get to the end of December without any shortfalls or under expenditures or under obligated. So I have that on my mind as well.
Anything else? Go ahead, Dan.
With that being said, one of my areas of concern is ARPA, making sure that funding gets obligated. I know probably each of our districts have a handful of people who have been on that list for a long time, and they're getting really nervous that if it's not obligated, they're under the understanding that they may not get the service that they were approved for, some of them a year or more for. So I don't know if there's any way to help get them assistance, or if they need assistance, maybe they're too proud to ask for some extra help, but they may need some extra help over there to get that ARPA funding, spent.
Let me reflect on that, and I appreciate the encouragement, and I have a very open line of communication with their department. As a matter of fact, we are circling around that November 14th date. They keep a very accurate and consistent and updated portfolio or an updated workbook, and I have about 2 calls a week with them, and I'm committed to making sure that those are fully obligated. They're working on another 20 to 40 contracts between now and the 14th, and they will continue to keep their foot on the pedal to make sure that that is fully obligated.
Good, Tom.
One last thing, Greg, mentioned this to Ruthie this morning, but I don't know if she'll probably update you on that as a senior staff member of your great crew. Really wanted to start the planning process just in case the full suite of branches of federal government are held by the Project 2025 folks. So trying to think of what would be cut in 2025 and they're into the future with the new administration and House and Senate. I think we probably start planning for the worst and trying to figure out how we were in the best position as we move forward. So any insider planning for that, I don't know if we need to do something between now and January or not, but maybe the sooner the better. It is the same fiscal year. I don't know, but put that on your radar.
Thank you for the notice on that. We continue to be under a continuing resolution through December 20th, and I will make sure that we have topical discussions about that and can plan appropriately. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Greg.
Thank you all.
Yep, we can take 10 minutes till 10:30.
And
10:30.
okay, I asked them to come in early, so they'll be here about 10:30 to 10:40.
Break till 10:30.
Yep.
We'll go out of regular into executive. And I'd entertain a motion to approve the fee schedules acts presented for the board compensation. Motion by Bing. Second by Jimmy. All in favor? We got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 4, and 1 abstention, Tom. And Len has left the meeting for an elders meeting. So, thank you, Zach.
Hey, I sure appreciate your guys' time today, and I know we have a lot of things on our mind after this week, so we'll continue to do our job and we'll continue to do it at a high level and make sure that things are done right and we get all the information out. And that was a great question, Jennifer, too. So that's when we think about the fiber ring. Okay, you guys have a great lunch. I was thinking about it, but then everybody was like, hey, I'm going this way, that way, that way. All right, you guys take care.
Before you head for lunch, one quick thing. I'll have a few other notices this afternoon, but this one was kind of interesting to me. Got a letter, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks. In accordance with 87-732 MCA, each Montana tribe may designate 2 tribal members to receive a state-issued wild buffalo license at no cost. These individuals are entitled to hunt wild buffalo in accordance with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks rules and regulations during the season set by Montana Fish Wildlife Commission. And so we have 2 wild bison licenses we can designate, but they have to be in accordance with Montana's code, which says these will be harvested in cultural ways. And so I'm thinking that we dedicate one of the license to Kootenai culture, one to Yes.
Mr. Chair, yeah, since, 25, after 25, the, Schweitzer administration made that amendment, or the instituted a state bison hunt program. And they've offered us those 2 licenses starting in 26, I think, 06. We've always denied it because we will not hunt under state law. We're hunting under we're superior to the state of Montana in so many ways. So that would be, I would recommend that we continue to do that. If we hunt buffalo, we hunt them only under our treaty rights, not under state authority.
Any objection to what Tom's saying? Do you, have you answered that you would? Okay.
Thank you, but no.
Thank you, but no thank you. Jennifer.
Melissa needed to speak with you guys really quick.
Go, Melissa.
Mike, Lisa had something to just say really quick.
Lisa's got something?
Really quick.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Good afternoon. I was over in Helena yesterday. The broadband infrastructure project received Engineering and Excellence Honor Award yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure that council was able to receive that.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Boys and Girls Club.
Oh,
Alec.
come on up, Eric. We got a short crew today. We got people in different places and a couple on Zoom, and you got us. Yeah, come on up, everybody. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having us and for council. We wanted to come and share a little bit about the impact of the club over the last year or so and introduce you to a few of our kids that go there and share a little bit of a project that's going on. So I guess we'll jump right in. So what I'm giving you guys is 2 things. One is a trifold telling about different things with Boys and Girls Club, but the one sheet piece is a piece that is highlighting the impact that the club has had over the last year. And so a couple of things I wanted to highlight with that. One is that to give you an idea of scope of who we're serving, last year we served 875 kids throughout our 3 locations. So that would be 6 years old and up through high school. And then an additional 450 kids through our sports programs. And if you don't know what's going on as far as our sports programs, we host or we sponsor a flag football program for 3rd through 6th grade, and then a basketball program for girls and a basketball program for boys for the same age group, and a AAU volleyball program. So between all of those, kids that don't come to the club, so that would be additional youth served, are 450 kids. So to put that in perspective, there's about 4,600 kids that go to school on the reservation, approximately, and we're touching in different ways more than a quarter of those kids, which I think is something to be proud of. In addition to that, though, one of the other things on this sheet that I think speaks more to the impact of what the club is doing in kids' lives is we have a term we call kid hours served, which is if you add all of the hours that each kid attends the club together, this last year we served kids. There was about 180,000 kid hours served in this last year. And from the perspective of being able to make impact, not just on number of kids, but the regularity that they attend, we've seen that as that number has gone up, the kinds of things that we're able to do, the kinds of impact that kids and parents are expressing back to us just continues to grow. And as a result, looking at some of the things that they get to do or have access to if they're attending for a year, it's things like meals, obviously, and snacks and things like that. But some of the other things when we started putting together the numbers, there's 90 plus hours of homework help and 40 hours of STEM and 40 hours of cultural enrichment kinds of programming and art programming and field trips and many different things that translate to kids being able to be exposed to stuff that they wouldn't otherwise be able to be exposed to. And so much of what happens there is because of the kinds of partnerships that we have within the departments of the tribe, within different people or different organizations within the community. And specifically with those tribal departments, I just want to say thank you for your support as a body to really empower your departments to be able to work with us, because whether it is with some of the partnerships we have with tribal education or a number of other departments, it enriches what we're able to do so much. One that I'd like to highlight briefly is that we've worked with the forestry and fire department division on a project around, and I think Tash may touch on this a little bit, but around fuels reduction and fire prevention and healthy forests, and watching the kids that were participating in that and then actually traveled back to Washington, D.C. this summer to be able to present on what their findings were and everything. Watching them grow is inspiring, but it's also looking at it and seeing that, hey, we've got kids that are ready when their time is called to step up and be leaders within this community. And that's something that I think we can all be proud of in the kids within this community, is that we have kids that are very intentional about wanting to make a difference in the world they live in general, but specifically within the community they live in, and want to stay here and be part of that. And so as much as anything, I want to thank you for what you guys have done to help make sure that that partnership and that it grows and continues, and that we're able to serve kids well. And I'm a bit late in introducing this gentleman. It's my fault. But want to introduce Tash Williams. He's our cultural engagement coordinator. He's going to share a bit with you guys and introduce himself. So thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tash Williams, and I just want to first of all say that it's an honor to be able to be here in front of you, especially in this beautiful land and amongst your people. And it's been an honor of mine to serve your communities. And so, just a little bit about myself. My name is Tash Williams. I'm enrolled in the Alabama Coushatta tribe of Texas. I also am Sauk and Fox and Kickapoo. My family name is Wapipaw, and I'm a part of the Eagle Clan. And then I'm also Hopland Band of Pomo Indian, so out there in California. So I'm quite literally plains, coastal, and woodlands native. So, but it's just been a blessing to be able to be here and to work alongside not only the Boys and Girls Club, but also the tribal community here. And so just a little bit about the stuff that I do. I am the cultural engagement coordinator, And so a part of that role is first to build relationship with the kids. I think growing up in a broken home myself, I didn't have too many people to really look up to at some times in my life. And so just making sure that, we're creating a positive environment for some of our kids, regardless of their background, regardless of what their family system looks like, just creating a space for them to grow and learn and build relationship. I know for me, I had a hard time having a relationship with authority for an amount of my life, and having people to really come down to my level and see who I was important to me. So that's kind of the basis of everything that I do. Culturally, I think that it is absolutely vital for people to be in touch with who they are, because that's who they're created to be. And so everything that we do around my programming, and I should not say mine, but our programming, centers around first relationship, and then two, also family. And I understand that family systems do look different, but a part of being a part of a greater, a greater family is really looking at who you are. And so because we live here on the Flathead Reservation, and not being somebody who is Salish or Kootenai or Pend Oreille, it is important for me to, one, build relationships with those around me, and then also create spaces for accurate and good cultural, teachings to be done in the spaces that we have as the Boys and Girls Club. And so for the past couple years, like you said, it's been a couple of years since I've had this position. For the last couple of years, that's what we've been building. And so we're thankful to now have a really good partnership with Tribal Education, where we actually have somebody who's Elaine Frank, who she's awesome to work with. I'm super thankful for her. To be working with us, to be able to bring in knowledge keepers and bring in some of the tribal resources into the stuff that we do. So quite literally, we have community members and elders coming in and sharing vital pieces of information, vital stories, but also the arts, right? All the things that we know that creates strength in our community. We want to be able to have a space for that. And so it's awesome to see. It's something that we, it took years to kind of create and move towards, but that's what we want. We don't want to be separate from the tribe. We want to be working together with the tribe, because I think that, anytime you're amongst a tribal region, it's vital and absolutely necessary to create a space for that tribe. And so that's what we want to do. And so part of this project that he was talking about it's called Keystone, and that's actually a youth leadership, and it's a youth-led leadership program. And so we have a group of teens throughout our Polson and Ronan Club that actually created something that centers around fuels management and fire mitigation. And we were able to work with the state, also with the county, not only with the National Park Service, so Glacier National Park, but also we were able to come into the tribal fire management programs and be able to talk to them and learn about that, so that we could hopefully bring more generations to see how important and how vital it is to take care of our lands, and to really steward the things that we've been given. And so it's been honestly, it's been life-changing for me personally, because the whole reason why we even kind of talked about fuels management and fire mitigation is because I had a lot of conversations with the cultural committee, with elders, with different people around the community to see what's important to this area. And that I realized that is a huge, that's a huge portion of what the tribe is focused on, because of how, one, beautiful this land is, but also because of historic rights and wrongs that were done. Now we're kind of playing catch up and trying to make sure that our forests are managed and taken care of. And so we don't want that to be just talked about on the adult level, but I think that if we can encourage that growth even amongst the youth, they're going to be able to step into these jobs. They're going to be able to step into the programs that the tribe has. They're going to be able to actually make an impact on things at an earlier age, so that they can actually, maybe find careers and really be huge assets to what the tribe is doing, what our communities are doing, and just overall just being better citizens, I think. So we were able to actually start that, and it's a long-term process. So it's not something that's just start and finish. We want to continue this, but we were able to actually go meet with our senators and our House of Representatives, and we were able to go take this project to DC, not only share it with other clubs, but we were able to also go into these offices and be able to talk to our representatives. And it was a life-changing experience for the kids, but honestly for myself too. I was told this one thing when I was over there, and we hear about this stuff growing up, but I was told, you know, and encouraged that like I deserve a seat at that table. And I think as a young Native man, you know, I always honored our tribal councils. I always honored our you know, our chiefs and our chairmen and our chairwomen, but that space was always like far, right? That's a different world over there. But to be able to stand in the same places that my chiefs and our family's chiefs have you know have been, and be able to still advocate, and then I look beside me and I see that I'm also carrying, you know, teenagers that are able to actually see that they actually deserve to be at these tables too. It's kind of twofold. One, yes, we're making an impact on what's important to the tribe and our community, but at the same time, these kids are getting this experience where they can see that they can be in these spaces too. And so it's been an awesome opportunity. And I'm very grateful to not only represent the Boys and Girls Club, but when I go, I know that I'm representing the Flathead Reservation. And so anytime that we get opportunities to learn more from even you sitting around this council, and anybody that you can point us to have more better conversations around just getting educated, right? And then being a part of stuff, we're more than willing to have those conversations. And that's why I think this partnership with the tribal education is so also important to me, because they are the extension of you into the club. And so now it's just creating more of a bond and unity in what we do with you. And so I don't know if there's anything else that you want me to jump on, but if you guys have any questions, I do have an invitation for anybody, really. We have some family events coming up. One of them is our second annual chili cook-off. All right, and so we would like to make it available for a couple of your members to be able to come and be our guest judges. So you guys just need to have a good poker face so that you don't make sure that you hurt anybody's feelings. But we would love to open that up for you guys, and then also opening that up for the future so that you guys know that you are always welcome in what we do at the club. So thank you.
Anybody got questions for Eric?
Yeah.
Or
Anybody got any questions? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Do we get to hear from the young ladies too?
Yes. So just as a way of introduction, this fall, we've started a youth entrepreneurship program in our teen centers. And so these young ladies will introduce themselves and share a little bit about what that is, and then I'll try and give a few more details at the end.
That sounds wonderful.
Hi, my name is Nasea Wolf-Wells, and these name tags were made by using wood.
Good afternoon. My name is Colin Goklish, and we think that this program is really important for our youth to help understand our business skills if we want to go and make our own small business, or like even just have some financial skills in your background. That's always nice.
And hello, my name is Molly Charlo, and these wooden name tags were actually made from laser engravers, and we actually made some for you guys as a gift, so you guys can like see how we are doing in this.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you.
So to add a little perspective, we've been pursuing the idea of doing some kind of entrepreneurship program just to give kids skills around what does it actually mean to develop a business plan, or what does it mean, you know, how do you figure out how much money you can actually make, or if something's profitable, and then what are the steps to actually put it together. And you know, in today's day and age, how do I create something for people to order what I'm trying to produce? And where this came from was that we as a club had been buying name tags for our employees, and they were getting really, really expensive and took forever to get there. And we realized one day we have a couple of laser cutters and engravers. We can do this ourselves. And so we had just made these for our board members and for our staff. And out of that came some conversation. Hey, would you be willing to do this? Maybe sell some, or maybe make them for, you know, for departments or for local businesses and things. And that stewed for a couple of months, and then this fall, we started putting together all the pieces, took about a month to work with the kids on developing that business plan and how was the revenue going to be split out to programming and to STEM and to those different pieces. And so today, there's kind of twofold. One, we wanted to bring you a gift of some name tags with the tribal seal and your name and what your role is on council. And then secondarily, offering it up to you, to any of the departments that would like to or need to get name tags. This would be something that would be, one, benefit the kids, but also secondarily would be something that they would be able to learn kind of that whole beginning to end production process and everything when it comes to working with, working in a real business situation with the support of people, adults who can help make sure that quality control is done and all of those kinds of things that are so important. So they made these, they worked with Adam, our teen services coordinator, and made these to be able to give to you guys. And so that's the other reason that we wanted to come and visit you.
Go ahead, Carol.
Just so nobody gets in trouble, I got a call from Eric about the logo, and I just said, well, I think as long as you're just putting them on these for now, I think it'll be fine to go ahead and use the logo. So the logo's on there, I hope. And then also, I just want to just thank you guys for coming in, Tash. Very nice presentation, and you do a very good work. But and the kids especially, it's always nice to see you guys come in and make your presentations and how well you do. But the Boys and Girls Club is an amazing club, but they also raise amazing amount of money. And I know it's never enough, but this year's fundraiser was really amazing. And when I tell people, the kind of money that we brought in, and that means that the community is contributing big time when you bring in 600,000 or whatever the amount was, it's somewhere around there, I think. Anyway, it means that the community has a buy-in, and it means that the tribe has a buy-in. So just appreciate all that you do. And, I remember doing a business plan back in the day when I was in school, and mine was on doing headstones for cemeteries. But it wasn't easy. So I know but you're learning a lot. And that's what's the most important thing. I think we try to push our entrepreneurs, and so it's good experience to go through that, even at a young age. But anyway, definitely amazing program. And I'm hats off to our tribal programs who really are invested in what goes on at the Boys and Girls Club. Michelle, especially, I know you're involved in natural resources and forestry, but I'm just so thankful. I never thought that when this started off that it would ever be to this point, but I would like to see it in Arlee and Dixon, other communities, but that all comes in time. So anyway, I just wanted to say that since I serve on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm almost done. So if there's any other council member that wants to be on the board, they're looking. So thank you.
Well, I know I've been lucky enough to be able to get the tours of each facility. I haven't seen Mission since it's actually up and running, but I don't know if all of our council folks have. So do you have a tour planned sometime soon?
Now I'm not able to speak. We don't have anything officially planned, but I think it would be a good to be able to do that. I guess one question I would have for you is, would that be better to try and set up, maybe have a brief lunch like we've done in the past and a tour? Is that the best way to go about that? Or would it be better to have it on a day that's not a council day?
Council days, you usually get more of the council folks.
Yeah.
And definitely food is always good.
Okay, we will plan something. I'm guessing with the holidays, it will be after the first of the year.
That's what I would guess too.
Yeah.
Are these young ladies missing school?
They are. They got permission, And, but they'd like to come give you these gifts if that makes.
That's wonderful.
All right, thank
Really
you.
appreciate it, and it's been excellent watching what you've really accomplished, Eric. And got to meet Tash when he first came on. Wonderful to see the work you're doing. Ben, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too, really appreciate you when you come in. And I've been to the Polson facility. I've been to your facility over across the road here and, or in Ronan, and, watched the ball games and whatnot. So it's really good to see this. All those kids out there, what they can do, you know, and some of them get carried away and forget about, dribbling and but head down the court with the basketball under their arm and going like football. I get a kick out of them, you know. But as just the young girls that's with you, it's, you know, they said they're working on something already for down the road here, you know, and it's good that you're doing that now. It's good that you're planning on working for something that you'll find that you're going to be interested in and be able to go on with a business plan or something like that to keep you busy and keep you employed and then maybe employ other people. It was back my day, we didn't have anything like this. You know, our day out in the field was bales. We had to pick up bales, you know, so that was our fun for the summer. But it's good that people are doing that, you know, and being involved with this. And this gentleman over here, it's good to hear that what he's offering to the club too, you know. And it's to listen to him talk, it was good to hear that he's bringing his culture over here too, along with ours. It's good to have that here. But I just want to thank you guys for coming in. And God bless you guys. You know, it's good to have you guys here and to do what you're doing. Thank you.
Any other questions for Eric or Tash or the girls? Well, thank you. And I'm anxious to see these tags.
Offer the tags, so if other departments would like to order them, maybe we can do something like that. I'm not sure who could head that up.
We can,
You're not busy, are you, Michelle?
I will send the link for the order form and everything to Jennifer so that you guys can decide how you want that information disseminated.
Do you have a brochure?
We don't have a brochure. We have it. So there's an online order form where so we'll get that sent to Jennifer so that she can distribute it how you want.
Everyone email.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sure.
So on Tuesday morning, SQCC invited you guys to stop by if you can at 8 o'clock in the morning to 8:30-ish, because they have their new students going to be there. But I just told them that you guys would do a quick stop by, and then if the chairman at 8:30, you could do a welcoming and encouragement and then get back here for council. Yes, I'm gonna do an email.
7 a.m.
Yes, I know Mike told me to remind them too on Tuesday, so I'll make sure to send that again on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll send it again on Tuesday morning.
Tuesday is the 12th, right?
Yes.
I'm in Spokane.
Well, we need somebody to be there at 8:30 to do a welcoming and encouragement on that day. Okay. If I remind you.
Better not see that, 'cause what if something comes up?
Well, I know Danny and Bing and Jimmy all have to drive by there, so.
I was
And
trying
James-
to.
If you need me. And James Junior, so. For Boo Boo.
Well, the major notice I gave already, Monday's holiday, right? I just wanted to remind folks, it's Monday's a holiday. But yeah, Tuesday is, there's a Columbia River Treaty thing in Spokane, and I'm pretty much the only one can go to that. So. Che hoy.